On the anniversary of D-Day, a lot of veterans are looking back.
And for so many, the memories are still very raw. A Lincoln man was there on the shores of Normandy, and Channel 8 Eyewitness News reporter Pierce Garlett talked to him today. Pierce?
Megan and Rod, Charles Hampton is a 96-year-old D-Day veteran who lives here in Lincoln. And today I talked with him about the day and what he experienced. What was that day like?
Oh,
For Charles Hauptman, the emotions from D-Day are still real.
I know. Yeah.
The anniversary for the invasion in Normandy was 75 years ago Thursday. Charles Hauptman, a Lincoln native, joined the Navy when he was 16 years old after his neighbor died during Pearl Harbor. Then, after begging his mother to let him fight, she signed off. He soon found himself along the shores during D-Day, helping bring men to the shores.
I remember my biggest problem, I took care of controls of the ship going in and out, and we run over all these soldiers laying in the water and running over them, and that sort of got to you. I mean, they was all dead, I'm sure, but the water was just full of dead people.
Years after the invasion, Charles took his wife and his family back to Normandy to visit Utah Beach. And while the memory of that day is still on the forefront of his mind, he says everything else has changed on those beaches.
It didn't look the same anymore, because it built up now, the houses and everything else. When we was in there, it was just sand.
But now, 75 years later, Charles remembers every detail of that day. And while it changed the world, he and his fellow soldiers had a job to do.
Well, when you're 19, 20 years old, nothing's important. You just do it. It's no big deal. We just done it.
Charles told me his captain was actually from York, Nebraska, and he joked he was just a little bit easier on him because of the Cornhusker connection.
You know what, for
Wow.
Charles to talk to us today, and as we saw there, 75 years later, it is such an emotional thing for him, something we can only wonder what it's like to have that in your mind.
Yeah,
All
for
right,
sure.
Pierce, thank you for that story.
Yes, and thank you to him.